Hey, babes. I don't even know what time it is. I didn't get a chance to look. But, like, I just came on for a brief moment. I just received my natal formation. And I am so ecstatic. Like, I really am because I'm, I'm on a hunt for something that's extremely vital to me. On my quest to move forward. And the one thing I want The one thing I want to be supportive of every individual that may come across my YouTube channel is to say individuality will go far. Like, don't be afraid to be unique. Don't be afraid to stand 10 toes down on your beliefs. You are born individually, so your thought process is never going to be completely the same as someone else's. And we're raised to we're raised to think this is bad and that is bad, and having that mindset will keep you stagnant. No matter what you're tussling with spiritually, if you cannot have an open mind and be willing to evolve past what is what is your comfort zone or what is your norm, you're gonna stay stagnant. But my purpose for coming on to talk about evolving and moving forward was to shed a little light on some books that I think you guys will need. My my book my book game for research is something serious. Let's say that now. Let's get that clear. Let's get that clear. Let's get that clear. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. Boom, boom. It was one more book. Okay. All right. Now, I'm just going to show y'all a few books. Just a few. I had to excuse me. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. What made me purchase or what made me inquire into each book that I'm going to show you? Because I am going through some things spiritually, and a lot of times when you try to communicate with other people on a spiritual level and just have a logical discussion, it agitates people depending on who you're speaking with. So I got tired of dealing with that, and then we're gonna talk about a lot of things this video may be one of my longest videos. We're going to touch bases on a lot of things that will keep you stagnant. I don't want to be a part of your stagnation. I want to be a part of your evolvement into someone more extravagant than who you are at this moment. So save this video. We're going to work on 90 days, 9. Let me explain to you guys why 9 is such a magnificent number to moi. 9 is my life path number. If you're into neurology or astrology, then you'll understand more about the life path number. So let's touch on some books. Oh, excuse me. The first book we're going to touch on, I don't want to block it. I hope you can see it. This book. This book is going to be the best book, or one of the best books, to address past life. Because it's going to give you a little info but it's going to coincide with this book. Can you see it? Yep. King James. We're down 2 books. Me, because I know whatever my gift is, or a part of my gift spiritually, deals with numbers and time. I'm certain of it. I'll go into more videos in depth later on this channel to explain to you why I feel the way that I do. So, the third book, can you see? Third book. Fourth book. Ooh, dang. This is the 4th book. It's going to be one of my most used books. Then this book. Trying to make sure you get a good glance at the book. This book. Oh, Jesus. This book. This book is thick, y'all. And that book was actually a gift from a pastor that I connected with at a Seventh-day Adventist church. I can share with you guys, I've been raised Baptist, but because of my haunts for knowledge, I'm not biased about whom I will worship with. Because one thing I have learned or come to understand is that when it comes to religion, there's truth and there is some exaggeration in each and every one. In each and every one. Somebody watching is not gonna like this. But just keeping it real. One of my biggest rules of thumb and advice is, if I say something that you don't feel is legit, there's only one thing you can do. One thing. And that is research. Record what I've said that you disagree with and research it. You get your research. Hit me up on one of these social sites. I'm on Facebook. On Facebook, I'm listed as Laquelle Wills, Laquuelle, Wills, Wills. And on Instagram, I think it's pretty much Tsunami75. And here, you'll always be able to get in touch with me here on the YouTube. So, if I say something that you disagree with and you want to have a discussion, I'm always reachable. This book is a vital book because what is it, 2019, and we are experiencing some strange things. I call them strange things. And this book it's very old book. Published copyrighted, published 1982. Since 1982, a lot has taken place when it comes to family medicine. The American Medical Association Family Medical Guide. A lot has taken place when it comes to medicine. So those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books that I've shared with you today. I could have possibly shared at least 20. At least 20. 20 books today. But then I would have to put all 20 back on my shelf. And I possibly would be taking you guys faster than I want to take you. Or faster than this journey that we're going to go on together needs to take us just starting out. So, like I said, with me, the most vital 2 books for my gift, my superior given gift, will be these 2, time and astrology. Let's not stay stagnant. Each individual born into the world has a job to do. Whether your job is completed earlier than expected or it takes longer will be on you, but each of us have a job to do, and it's necessary that we all wake up and take our rightful positions and our rightful stance within society so that society can truly evolve in a positive way versus a negative way, and versus just a handful of people being subjected to the fruits and labor of Mama Earth. Yeah. So we're not going to stay stagnant, and we're not going to stay unaware, uninformed, misinformed, miseducated. All those words would fit up under the topic of stagnation. Miseducation, uninformed, um, in order to do better, you have to first know better. When you know better, you can do better. When you know more, you can therefore go forth and teach more about what it is that you know. And I do want to say this: prayer to whomever you serve individually is the first rule of thumb. Before you pick up any material, or before you go online to research any subject, pray. Pray. You can never go wrong with prayer. How many times a day do you pray individually? That is up to you. Nobody can tell you how many times a day you are entitled to pray. That's individually up to you. How do you pray? That is also individually up to you. There's no significant way to pray. The only thing our Creator, Abba, wants you to do when you come forth in prayer is to be humble, to have a humble position within your temple so that you can not only pray and send forth your concerns and also be humble so that you can retrieve an answer. I know the discussion of religion can get rough because everyone serves a everybody serves their own perspective version of a higher authority than what is here in the physical realm. When I say serve a higher authority, I'm speaking of an authority that is not physically visual to the naked eye, in depth spiritually. It's spirit, it's spiritual. But I just want to give a quick example of how I got to this point that I'm currently at. And this is what happened. Oh, back in 2007, August of 2007. Y'all excuse me. This is bedtime vlogging. Yeah. Bedtime come vlogging. You remember, come vlog. I was working at Advance America, and I had a feeling that something was not right with my position at this job. Like, I got a feeling something was going on. And you know how you're uncertain as to what it is you feel, and you don't want to assume. So you may ask the question, but then you feel like you're giving a. I asked my boss, you know, if my performance on my job was meeting the required standards. I was told there wasn't a problem, but then again, my boss was trying to advance her position from being a store manager to being a district manager, because our district manager's position was fixing to be open. So she wanted that position. But that's neither here or there. This still voice reassured me that I was being lied to. And you know how you see so much good in a person. I'm an empath. So I'm very, 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 very compassionate to others. Like, it would take an empath to understand. If you're not empathic, or you don't have empathy, then it would be vitally hard for me to express to you in depth the feelings that I was having at that given moment on my job. But anyway, I got off that evening and I went home, and this was my weekend off. So I couldn't get myself situated. And my friend at the time was sweeping out the carport. He had swept out the entire carport, and my grass had just been cut. So my atmosphere when I pulled up was lovely. When I pulled up to the house, it was lovely. And when he left, I still couldn't get my inner spirit man to calm down. I was just agitated, and I kept hearing spiritually, everything's not okay. She's being deceptive. So I didn't want to think that my boss was truly being deceptive, because I really thought we were in a good space. So I had a I had a cousin that was working at the same business, just a different location. And I called her up. She was still at work that evening. And I told her what I was going through. I was like, "Hey, look, I cannot shake this out of my spirit. Something, like, I just know something is going on. I know my job is at stake, and I'm feeling like your job will be at stake because we're affiliated. And I just want to let you know up front to watch your own back, because I possibly will no longer be at the company. I'm almost sure that my job is on the line and will be over very soon. You need to cross your I's and dot your T's, because I feel like once they've gotten rid of me, they're going to try and get rid of you. So, made it through the weekend. Went to work the following Monday, but I wasn't supposed to be there until 9:30, and I got there at 8. I was thinking I was supposed to open, but the schedule had been changed. So when I got there, I noticed there was a young lady already in the store, and my manager was there as well. So when I went in, she was like, "You're not supposed to come in until 9:30." It was 8 o'clock. So I'm like, I thought it was 8 o'clock. I'm almost certain I was supposed to open today. She was like, "No, you're not supposed to come in until 9:30." She was like, "You can clock on in though." It was a busy day. Anyway, she said, "You can, if you can clock in if you want and go ahead and make the bank runs." So I'm like, "Okay, I'll just clock in. I'm already here and I'll make the bank runs." So when I spoke to the lady that was there, and she spoke back, but you know how someone is nervous? It's like they had been caught. Like I walked in on almost walked in on a conversation about me. So clocked in, got everything that I needed for the bank run. Yeah, no. And I said my goodbyes and I left. Made my bank runs. So, um, our store wasn't hiring for a customer service representative. We didn't need a CSR. I was the CSR. My manager was the branch manager. And that day went by, and I finally asked her. I was like, "So, is was that a new employee? Are we hiring a new employee?" She's like, "Nah, I was just interviewing her for a CSR position. We do need to, we have some positions open, and I was just helping with interviews for the position." And my spirit man just wasn't feeling it. But of course, me, being who I am, okay, let that slide. So we, the young lady had the job. I knew she had gotten a job. Boss lady had said she had gotten a job. We were just waiting on her background, reports to come back. Background credit reports to come in. So later through the week, she kept talking about the young lady, and she actually knew the girl though, but she was trying to make it seem like she didn't know the girl. Now, at Advance America, if a customer comes in, that's the payday loan service for those of you that aren't aware of what it is. If a customer comes in that you are familiar with, you're not supposed to wait on them, technically. So, the following Friday, this guy from her hometown comes into the store, and she does a loan for him. Branch manager or not, that was not the proper protocol. I was supposed to do that loan for him. I knew she knew him, but this wasn't the first time that she had ever done something like this. So she just had her picks and chooses of who she wanted to do the loans for and who she wanted me to do the loans for. She had her days that she wanted to follow protocol. But anyway, let's move faster because I'm prolonging the time. This is what made me, well, this is what introduced me to everything that I showed you and made it vital that I start researching more in depth and get serious about my research. Excuse me, I haven't had any sleep, so bear with me. We, that weekend passed by. The following week, we had Monday. Her paperwork still hadn't come back, and it shouldn't have taken this long for her background check and credit report to come back. So that Tuesday, we had a meeting. And when I went in, I noticed that another CSR from another store, when I reported to work that morning, we had another CSR from another store already there, prepared to run our store while we were in the meeting. But something in my spirit said, look over there on that counter. You see those papers? Turn face down. Those are your termination papers. So at this point, I'm truly tripping. I'm like, hell no. But I didn't pay it any mind. She asked me to do bank runs. But how is it that you already have a customer service representative here, you're here, and neither you or her have already gone to the bank and done the bank run? So, thinking nothing of it being me, I go run to the bank. And when I got back, it was time for the meeting to take place. So other members from other stores had come to our store to all be in attendance of this meeting. What do you know? When I get to the back, to the meeting area, who but the young lady, the same young lady that had gotten hired, was reporting for work. But her background check hadn't come in. But she was reporting to work. She was in the meeting. She was in attendance of the meeting. So, while I'm sitting here to myself, and everybody else was socializing, I'm sitting to myself because I'm really not feeling the atmosphere. And my boss is kind of agitated out of all days. She's agitated today. So, my spirit says, go and tell her that what she's worried about, she don't have to worry about. It's covered. I've got that handled. So now, I'm truly tripping. I'm tripping. I'm thinking maybe I done hit the weed or took a shot, and I'm knowing haven't hit no weed or taken a shot or nothing. I look down the road to the right of me, and I look down the road to the left of me, and I'm sitting alone, so I'm saying to myself, maybe I'm tripping. I didn't hear that. Just as clear as day, just as clear as you hear me, I heard it again. So, but it was more aggressive, like with no room for me to be disobedient. Let's just say that. So she was over. I was standing with some more young ladies talking to them. I got up, got myself together, got up. I walked up to her. Now keep in mind, she was talking to some co-workers and she was on her phone. So I walked up to her and I said, excuse me. I said, we met last week when you first came to interview for your job. I said, can I speak with you for a moment? And she was like, yeah, go ahead, baby. She moved down a little bit from the coworkers, but she was still on her phone. So I told her, I said, I'm not trying to be rude for interrupting your conversation, but I don't know who you serve or what you believe spiritually. I don't know if you serve God. I don't know what your personal preference is. I said, but I feel that God has led me over here to you to tell you to stop worrying. You don't have to worry. God has your background check covered. That's what I was advised to come and tell you. I wish that I could make her facial expression just so you guys could understand the degree of her expression on her face. It was more so like, how did you know that my background check hadn't come through? And how did you know that I was even worried about? Like, her facial expression gave me validation that what I was led to come and tell her was on point. She actually hung up her phone and she was like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yes, ma'am." I said, "Yes, ma'am. You got the job." I said, "You don't have to worry. I don't know what's on your background record." Like I said, I was just minding my business and my spirit led me over here to give you that bit of information. She was literally tearing in in her eyes, and she had excused herself from her phone call. And she was like, "Oh, thank." She was so grateful. "Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you." But our projector, we needed to use the projector for the meeting, and it wouldn't work. So my manager, after fibbling with it for like 30 minutes and we wasting time, she was like, "Okay, we're not going to be able to do it here. We're going to go to the 69 location and we're going to have the meeting there. So you guys go ahead and I'll meet you at the 69 location." And I'm like, "Okay." But again, my spirit is like, "This your last day. You gonna get fired today. This is your last day." So that's why you were led to tell her what you were led to tell her. But it didn't surprise me because I had already previously gotten this in my spirit. So as I was getting ready to go to the 69 location and meet everyone else there, the young lady that was the representative filling in for our store, she was like, "Bye, Alberta. It was nice seeing you again." And I was like, "Okay, baby." I said, "Well, you see me when I come back, to this location." And she never responded to that. Now, keep in mind, I'm headed out the door, and my spirit said, "Those are your termination papers." So I go back to the counter and I ask the girl that's filling in for us. I was like, "Can you do me a favor? Can you give me those papers that are over there on the counter and um let me look at them?" And she looked at me with this look of bewilderment. She said, "Alberta, I don't want to get involved." And I'm like, "Get involved? What do you mean?" She was like, "I don't want to have nothing to do with it." I was like, "Oh, okay, I understand." I simply understood. I knew then, like my spirit was head on today. Spirit was showing out today. So I go back around the corner, I pick up the papers, and I flip them over. And just to show, it was three papers. Two of them were write-ups, and one of them was my termination. The write-ups, both write-ups, one write-up was 2 weeks old, the other write-up was a week old, and the termination paper was the last one. One of the write-ups was because on a contract, I failed to verify the signature. of the contract. And on the second one, it was because I failed to verify the date of a check and to give back $10 change to a customer. But I knew who the customer was that I failed to give the $10 back to. In the process of being um, making mistakes during these 2 weeks, I was currently trying to move out of my home and find another home. And the deadline that I had to do this, because I had already given a notice to previous, my present landlord, um, it was so close to that time. So I was using every moment that I had free to try and, get my personal business handled. And she knew this. But like I said, I thought the relationship between her and I was better than what it was. So I looked at the papers and co- I copied all three and I turned the papers back over face down, left them on the counter, and I told the young lady, it was nice working with you. Um, I understand why you didn't want to get involved and you're not involved, but thank you. And I walked out of the door. Did I go down 69? No, ma'am. I went home. I clocked out and I went home. I mean, why tell me to go to another location to be present for a meeting when you're going to terminate me? When I tell you guys, spiritually, I have had some encounters that are not without being in a spiritual place. There is no explanation for so many, so many encounters I've had over this um, year's time, over these few years. It's just no explanation. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. So, I'm sorry. Um, what I was fixing to say? Yeah, but that's why that was an example of what got me to where I am. I've tried over and over and over since 2007 to shake it off and, just live a normal life and keep the encounters that I have spiritually to myself. But sometimes they are so extravagant that I have to share it with other people. So that's why I said anything dealing with you as an individual, you have to be firm and stand 10 toes down and be confident about your own spiritual um, position. You cannot compare your spiritual position to somebody else's spiritual position. There are levels to it. Don't be concerned about the levels. The levels do not mean that this individual is greater than you, or it's nothing like that at all. I just don't want you guys that's going through this to be discouraged and allow yourself to be stagnant. No. Be encouraged. Be willing to move forward. Be excited. Be persistent. But most of all, be prayerful. Stay prayed up. That is my advice. I've given you an example of the books that I'm on this a journey with right now, and I know it's going to take me some time. About 4 of the books will remain on the journey for the time that the journey is allowed to transpire, and I guess that is limitless. Oh, it's limitless. I'm sorry. So, with not much more being left to be said, um, if you have any questions, if I can be of help to you, leave a comment, and I'll do my best to be of help if I can. Thank you.